And
All
we're
right. How we doing out there tonight, guys? Welcome to Internet Undefeated. And we have some great topics for you. We have a little bit of everything. We have some hot topics. We have a little bit of post All-Star breakdown and analysis. And we even have a little bit of rumor mill and some NBA more out of off the court, out of bounds news going on in a couple of different franchises. So let's get it started off with what left some people a little confused here. Jimmy Butler, guy voted in the All-Star game and did not even. And you know what? Let's get a quick shout out to my co-host here, Clutch, Eric commentator, and Maddox 730. Say what's up, guys.
what
What's
up? What up? What
up?
up?
All
How's
right,
everybody doing? Welcome.
I know you guys hyped to break this down. That's why I jumped right into it. So Jimmy Butler, he was voted in the All-Star game, yet somehow managed to sit out the game completely. And there was, a lot of people were confused as to why he didn't play in the game. Guys, did you, weren't you a little thrown off by that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So
Especially, if he had fans of it, young fans that wanted to see him play. That's a big thing
Especially,
for me.
yep, and the controversy surrounding who was picked even for the All Star teams. Yes, definitely shocked that he didn't play.
now it was weird because I got the first report said that he actually was sitting out because of a hangover. I guess he had turned up a little too much, but then we got a completely different breakdown from inside the team. Stefan, isn't that right, Eric, commentator?
Yes, this is via SB Nation. Mike D'Antoni, the coach who was coaching Steve Steffen, is quoted saying, "He was tired and he just felt like his legs weren't there. He didn't practice yesterday or play today. You have to respect that. He plays hard. Sometimes your body just needs a rest." Now, in Butler's defense, he does average 41 minutes per game and he is number one in minutes per game in the league at averaging at 37.3 minutes per game. Now,
Damn.
Butler is quoted saying, that he wants to be fully prepared for when the game starts up again. So, can you really blame him for taking a rest, or do you think it was a hangover?
I'm gonna blame him because you at least have to go out there for at least 1 minute so the fans can see you. There's plenty other days you could probably take a rest. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are just being selfish and trying to, stay in the playoffs.
I mean,
You
you're
know,
right. He could have played a couple of minutes. LaMarcus Aldridge played like 4 minutes. I mean, as long as you make an appearance, I agree with you.
It's weird. I thought I had actually saw him. I know the official report said that he's not obviously on the court at all. I thought I saw him in my mind in the game for a moment there towards the end there. Being that he wasn't though, you're absolutely right. They owe it to the fans. Millions of people. It doesn't matter if only 10 people, but obviously way more than that went out and voted for the guy, and then he doesn't even get to play at all. There was almost, I think, 7 days, maybe more, if you didn't play on the last day before All-Star break of no NBA action, outside of the actual game. I don't know if we even count the skills challenge as a serious workout for the NBA All-Star weekend. So it's a pretty solid break. And nobody in the 90s, sorry to sound like an old timer, was really worried about that.
On top of that, we got the ending the overall ending of the game could have been different if we had Jimmy Butler out there guarding LeBron. We know how good Jimmy Butler is on defense. It's just
And and seriously, it was an exhibition game. It wasn't like he was going to be playing his heart out, really having to guard, really having to defend. They were having fun out there. So, he
I
did owe
mean,
it to the fans.
that's your take. I thought that that they were a lot more intense in this game than they've been in the past, but a lot of people felt like it wasn't something too much different. Even though we had a lot less points this time compared to last year, about 50, 60 points less in the game overall because defense showed up a bit more and they slowed the flow. But that was one of a couple of hot topics coming out of this week here with Jimmy Butler. Tim Thibodeau playing them the most minutes over there, but. AD also said that if DeMarcus Cousins wasn't injured, this team not only did he feel that the Pelicans could go deep in the NBA playoffs, but he said that they were a finals ready team. if I remember the exact quote correctly, guys. What do you think about that?
Finals ready team is a little of a stretch, I think, but I definitely do think come playoff time, if other teams are tired and stuff like that, you never know what can happen in the playoffs, especially with two hungry guys who've never made it to the finals.
And they were playing good together. When Cousins was playing, you never know. Could they have reached the finals? Yes, but I don't think, or playoffs rather, yes, but I don't think they would have been the deciding factors for
And
the
You know,
finals. I don't.
I am I am so glad that AD said this. It's so true. I was nervous. A lot of people that I talked to, I swear, I wish I tweeted about it. These guys, they had me nervous. The way these Twin Towers were putting up numbers, you had two guys. I don't think we've seen an NBA team with Twin Towers like this since,
no,
David Robinson, Tim Duncan. Like, I mean, they are a phenomenal dynamic duo, Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, and both of them individually demand double and triple teams and still put up 30 on those guys. I don't think any team in the West wanted to face them in the playoffs, and it's just a shame. It's going to be one of those great what if stories, especially with free agency coming up for Cousins, and we are not knowing, how things are going to work out long term, right?
exactly. And at the same time, AD, is being a good teammate. He's wore his jersey in the All Star game, and he's supporting him. And maybe this is just a pitch to keep him on the team, being that he's going to be a free agent. Who knows?
Mm.
But I do think no one wants to face these guys when it's down in the stretch. You got these two big bodies. The way Cousins was playing was remarkable, and you know
And I know
how
their bench, they're
freak of
not the
nature AD
deepest.
is.
I know they're not the deepest team. Also, depth matters a lot in the West when you're going up against these powerhouse teams. Drew Holiday was playing excellent basketball. They had Cunningham and more, just some guys stepping up for them consistently that they could get A1 defense out of. They could get quality minutes out of. And, just be matchup issues. God forbid one or two other guys step up for them. They were literally one player away, and now, as we all know, they're a little bit further away than that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But keeping it moving here, we got Klay Thompson coming out as another hot take, letting everybody know, shush that noise. He's gonna be he's a different type of player. He's gonna be staying in the Bay,
He will
long
not be
term.
leaving the team, guys. Sorry, Klay Thompson is here to stay. He's a splash
So
brother. He's not leaving the Warriors, guys. He's
yeah,
not
yeah. So,
leaving my
A lot.
team.
The reason why a lot of people are saying this is because before Durant came, there were the Splash Brothers. It was them two. They had all the shine. Now, being that Durant came, it's kind of like Steph and Durant, and he kind of took the back seat to that. So
But
I
please
could
don't sleep
understand
on
where
Klay
this rumor is
Thompson.
coming from, but I don't think Klay Thompson's the type of player who wants to put a team on his back and get all that attention like
see,
that.
I think
He wants
that's
to come and play his role.
I think the role that Clay plays is vastly misperceived. They don't understand that this guy, he does what they
Very
need at the
detrimental.
time that they
I don't
need it.
know. Klay
He's the
Thompson is a very big part of the Warriors team. Please, guys,
Yeah,
do not
he's
sleep
a
on
He's
huge
an
him.
X.
part.
He's an
If
X
He's
he
factor.
wasn't on that team, we would not be a winning championship team. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm telling you, he's a good three-point shooter. He comes in the clutch. He is all around a great
In case
player.
you guys didn't know out there, Airhead Commentator is a diehard Dubs fan. She's pulling for them to make it back through and get that. How many rings do you want Steph and KD to finish with there?
Well, I guess they have two rings right now, so I hope by the time that they're done playing their career, they have six, seven, eight rings.
All right, if some is good, more is better.
So you really think they're going to stay together for the long haul?
I do. I think Klay Thompson is loyal. Stephen Curry's not going anywhere. Kevin Durant found a place that he knows that he can win a
What if
ring.
what if the Warriors say they don't want to sign Klay Thompson back as a free agent?
They would
Not gonna
never.
happen.
They would never.
Not
They
I'm
not
just
gonna
would
saying you
happen.
never.
never know. You never know. Some teams they when it comes to the cap and you got these investors investing in the company who want to see a return and
Listen,
No, these
people
guys
will
these
take a
guys are
pay
young.
cut.
These
People
guys are
will take a
young,
pay cut
and,
to stay
and they're
together.
going they're going back to back to back finals. There's nothing. whatever the cap. I don't know if Clay's not gonna try to squeeze them. If that's what you're asking, if he's gonna try to squeeze them for money and try to hit them up in free agency, I don't think that's gonna be the case. He's not. He doesn't need to be a max contract guy. You think he's that kind of guy?
I don't.
I don't know, but I'm just saying the ownership in the front office sometimes they get too greedy and they see that now you have Durant and
But I
you
don't
have
think the Warriors is like
and
that at
Curry.
all.
You never
You
know.
you have Steve Kerr who is actually allowing his players to call plays for games. He's getting them involved. It's a family. The culture there is great. Everyone plays very well together. You have bench players who come. You have Sean Livingston. You have Iggy. I mean, you have McGee coming. I mean, you have McGee for the center. You just have these good players coming
But what
Yeah.
together as a family,
business is business at
making
the end
these
of the day, right?
shots.
I understand where you guys are coming from. You don't want to break up something that's good, but business is business at the end of the day. If being that Klay Thompson's on his last year, right, or it's 2019 actually, he's not even going to be a free agent this year, guys. He's going to be a free agent after this coming year. So this coming year, they could very well get a great offer by somebody who's getting the first round pick and is willing to give away a star,
We're not
just to
willing to
get
give away
Klay
Klay
Thompson
Thompson. We
You
are
for a
think
not
trade.
willing.
they're dealing?
They'll
We
You're
are
out on a
they'll
not.
limb on
trade
this
Klay
one.
Thompson for a first round pick and
I'm
an All
sorry.
Star with 5 years on his contract.
Listen, this is coming from someone who wishes that Klay Thompson was on the Lakers team, brother. He's not going anywhere. Please. He's
We
not
could
going
trade you guys
anywhere.
Kuzma and Lonzo Ball.
We don't want him. We don't want him. Keep Lonzo.
You never you never know. Look how sweet that contract looks like with Lonzo Ball coming off your bench. Six point
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
six
rather keep
point
him
two
on the
million
bench and not
six
come off.
point 6.2 million stretched out in a couple years rather
I'd rather
than having
keep
to play
Lonzo
Klay
sitting.
Thompson 100
All
something
right,
million over
we're
5 years.
gonna hit the wrap it up on the pipe dreams. All right, because I know Laker land you would love for one of these premier guys. I thought you were lobbying for Paul George all year. I don't know what happened. Now you're done with him.
He doesn't know
But
what he
Paul
wants.
George is coming this summer,
No, he's
and we're
not.
gonna trade a young asset for Klay Thompson.
okay, you heard it here first. The
You're
hot
a
take
dreamer.
from Matic 730. Now we got a big list of well, not too huge, but quite a few matchups for tomorrow as we return from the All Star break. Finally, I felt like I was in the Sahara Desert of non NBA action, and now we have a list of what 5 matchups for tomorrow.
6. We have Knicks versus the Magic, Nets versus the Hornets, Wizards versus the Cavaliers, which is going to be a good game, 76ers versus the Bulls, Thunders versus the
That's
Kings,
gonna be
and
good.
Clippers versus Warriors.
Yeah, okay, I like that last matchup there, and you also shouted out that Cavs Washington game. Those are some premier matchups to see there.
I'm definitely hyped to see the Bulls versus 76ers as well. Zach LaVine. Let's see what he has, against Ben Simmons tomorrow.
Yeah, that's always going to be a nice matchup to see as well. I think that's a really young team, and they're not playing in rhythm, but they didn't have their guys healthy for most of the year. Now that Washington Cavs game, however, they're going to make sure and really give Cleveland everything that they can because they're making noise and they're playing extremely well, even though they don't even have their leader, John Wall. Bradley Beal is going nuts during
Yes,
this
he
stretch,
is.
and he's getting plenty of help from Otto Porter Jr.,
They're
even
sharing
Kelly
the ball.
Oubre's joining in the mix. I've seen some marching Gortat sightings for the first time in a while. I think they're going to give Cleveland a serious work over tomorrow night, and I think I might even take them to pull that game out.
Ooh.
Okay, that's your take on that, but I definitely think with this break from playing, I think that the Cavaliers, obviously practice together, and they're now building this relationship with Clarkson and Hill and uh,
Le-
and Lance.
LeBron loves the attention. He's gonna come strong the second half. He wants to
He
prove to
sure
these young
is.
guys that a winning atmosphere, and he's gonna. This is what he needs, that fire to light him. You got to be uncomfortable to succeed. So they traded everybody. He has these young guys that he's trying to put on the fast track. He said, and it's gonna be a pretty good game.
Yeah, I think Cavs are going to take that one.
Me too.
Okay. Okay, you guys think the Cavs are ready to roll here, and you don't think the Wizards are gonna have enough for them? Is that just like in general? You think Cleveland's just better than the Wizards, or is it just because you don't think John Wall is there?
No,
I,
because they've been playing good without Wall.
and I
So
always
I
go with the storyline. You know, LeBron, the new team, the new guys who are looking up to him. It's a lot of the times it's the storyline that drives the people.
All right, I hear you. I hear you. Well, we got the Wizards coming off of 2 wins, and Cleveland has been playing well as of late as well. So somebody's gonna end the streak tomorrow night with that matchup. I hope Cleveland does do well. I expect those guys to step up consistently, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did, pull it out. But I still have to stick with my pick there. The are a team with something to prove right now, and Bradley Beal and Otto Porter Jr. Anybody looking for a nice pick on that FanDuel, that's definitely not going to be one to let you down.
Hell yeah, and Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, he's a little bit more of an X factor for them, and when he does go off, man, they're really tough to beat. But they even got their great point guards, Saturansky stepping up, Frazier stepping up. They even got a guy Scott that doesn't get much shine, but he just does the little things for them, and they have a strong second unit. They're a little bit deeper than people realize. So watch out for the Wizards, man, tomorrow against the Cavs. Now for that second premier matchup, what we were talking about, the Warriors is trying to
Versus the
shut
Clippers.
down the Clippers, who are trying to make a playoff push right now. They are literally a half game back of the Pelicans, who are holding the 8th seed for dear life since they started slipping with the ACL tear of DeMarcus Cousins.
this
Those
would be an
Clippers.
easy win.
You, lately, the Warriors haven't been looking, too shabby. So we'll see if they just needed this break to get everybody, you know, back on track. So I think the Warriors are going to be fine.
I think this is a dangerous game for the Dubs. I definitely gonna pick the Dubs to come out on top, but I wouldn't want them to come out without their foot on the pedal, because the combination of Lou Williams, Tobias Harris, and even my old former Nick fave Danilo Gallinari, they've been putting in work. Those three guys, they're a little bit heavy on the minutes, and I know that that's probably not enough to knock out the Warriors. But Lou Williams, I think he already went off on a Warriors victory without Tobias Harris beforehand, if I'm not mistaken, when Blake Griffin was not playing. So why not do it again, right? Round two.
And then you got DeAndre Jordan cleaning up the glass. So
You're
it'll be
right.
a
You're
very
all
interesting
right.
game, and
You're all
especially if
right.
Lou Williams gets on fire, you never
You're
know.
Yeah,
all
he
right.
he
But
spells problems for all defense.
you're right. But the Warriors will take this.
Confident Eric commentator. I love her. I love her. She's got the take for you.
All
Okay,
right.
so
Now we're up to our shout outs and our flops, right?
yes, post All Stars, the second half of the year. We always love this time of year because we get to see how these teams are going to develop going into the playoffs. Who's really serious and who's going to be the bust. So we like to call it around these parts shout outs and flops. All right, that's the hashtag we want you guys to use when you talk about this one with us. Um, we want to shout out some teams in the East and West that are both really doing well, and we think are going to continue to shine, or maybe they haven't done so great, but we think they're going to take off now. So let's always let the ladies set it off for us. Eric, commentator, who do you think in the East and West? Give us a couple teams to look out for in the second half of the NBA season.
All right, guys, this is my take. Who I think for the second half of the season, the regular season, of course, is who I think you guys should look out for. For the East, I definitely think the Cavs and the new team that they have, you should definitely look out for, and the Bucks. Now for the
Really,
West, yes. Now for the West, I'm
Well,
looking
hold
at.
on a sec there. Just give us a little bit of insight there. I mean, we already know obviously why you feel the way you do about the Cavs being on the last topic, but
Mhm.
the Bucks, what who do you like on that squad, and what do where'd that come from?
So the Bucks are currently the seventh seed. You have Antetokounmpo on that team. So I think they're going to be surprising a lot of people. I think they could definitely move up from seven to close to a closer number. From seven to maybe even four or fifth. I think they're definitely going to go past the Celtics. I definitely
Yeah.
think they're definitely going to go past the Spurs. The Spurs without Kawhi
Whoa.
Leonard. Listen, Kawhi Leonard is no longer on the Spurs right now, so I definitely think
Well,
that
we
the
don't want to
Bucks
say
have a
he's no
chance.
longer on the Spurs. He's just probably
No
not gonna
longer for the rest of
play.
the season is he going to play.
All right, all
So if
right.
they don't have Kawhi Leonard, which they didn't have him last year, and you saw what happened, I don't think they're going to be staying in the sixth seed
So you're
that
saying as
much longer.
long, no matter what seed they make it, as long as they get to the playoffs, you're saying I'll take the Kumbo's going to put him on his back and make some magic happen.
The Greek Freak will put him on his back. Hey
I
guys, this
mean,
is
you
just
know,
my take. You may not agree with it, but
no, hey, we're
we'll
just
see.
asking. Hey, we're just asking questions here. Nobody's you're in the safe place, okay? Um, so I actually think that that's a great pick for a shout out squad, being as especially they getting Jabari Parker. He is a filthy young man right there. Watch out for the way he gets busy on the court. They already been showing well with Brogdon and well, what's this guy Thon Maker and whatnot. They just got some people showing up for them. So yeah, definitely a gritty team. And who'd you have here as your shout outs in the West?
Okay, for the West, you guys already know it's going to be the Warriors for me, and the Timberwolves. That is
Whoa.
me for the West.
Okay, I'm gonna just jump in right there because those are my same exact two shout outs in the West. You got the Warriors, who are first in assists and 3-point percentage. I mean, we already know they just move the ball and shoot the three better than the rest of the NBA, right? But they're also first in field goal percentage right now. I mean, damn, they just shoot it well from everywhere. The way that they're mixing it up with the inside out, and then Minnesota, they're the lowest in NBA turnovers per game. They take care of that ball like no other. I don't think people have seen a combination like Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, and Karl Anthony Towns all together. I think they might actually, I hate to say it, but they might actually have enough firepower. I know they're young, but they could match up with just about anybody in the NBA right now.
They're a good, well put together team. That's for sure.
Okay, so mine
And
for the West, my shout out for the West is going to be the Spurs and the Thunder.
Come on. Explain
Now, I'm going to
yourself.
go with the Spurs, okay, because without Kawhi Leonard, if the playoffs started today, they will be a third seed in the West. Right or wrong?
yeah, that's correct. And that means they would play Denver if the playoffs started today, the Nuggets.
Okay, and you got to give it a Popovich. A lot of no name, people that not a lot of people know about. He's a good coach. He's the best coach in the NBA,
For sure.
and
Pop for
he has
president.
Kawhi Leonard. He has Aldridge playing, at a level where it's night and day from last year. We saw Aldridge last year playing
Yeah,
very
and he's got
poorly,
the
especially in
emergence
the
of
playoffs.
a couple of these young guys playing extremely well with Dejounte Murray having career
Murray,
games, and
yep.
Kyle Anderson. A couple of these guys showing up big for him. Pau Gasol, he's also been a rock for them defensively. I love that guy. He's a smart, savvy man with the ball in his hands and creates for everybody around him.
And he
Now,
has experience.
I have a conspiracy where we're holding back Leonard to a couple of games right before the playoffs to trick everybody. And if you got a guy with Kawhi Leonard caliber who's not played 82 games and is completely healthy, what do you think that team right there, who's a third seed, could possibly do when the Warriors were down 20 before this guy broke his ankle last year in the playoffs?
No, I hear you. That's a crazy take. I'm gonna have to, sell that one just because I can't see them not wanting him to get his legs back underneath him, get playoff rhythm ready for himself. You can't expect him to come in less than 5 games and be Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs, can we?
What if he's been working out, scrimmaging, off camera this whole time? just
Uh,
at his own pace,
oh, you're
and he
talking
comes
about the
back.
the
You know how tired
hidden
all
ace up
these
the
people are
sleeve.
gonna be. You know how tired all these teams are gonna be, and you got Kawhi Leonard fresh. Leonard's gonna have to play his role. Kawhi's gonna put the team on his back. You never know. And with the Thunder, I just feel if these guys get in the playoffs, you know, these three guys who've never won a championship before, there's nothing you can do to probably stop them. That's, I'm just putting that out there.
All
Okay.
right. All right, that sounds so. We got our West shout outs out the way. We had Airhead commentator get her East shout outs out the way. Matic, who do you think is the somebody worth a shout out in the East?
I got the 76ers and Detroit Pistons
Nice.
as my shout out because same thing. You got these young guys on the 76ers. If they get a taste of some blood, get into the playoffs. Embiid looked very, very good in these All-Star break and
You're right.
this whole year pretty much. And then you got
You
Ben
know,
Simmons who's trying to make a name for himself. You never and you got Redick who can come in the clutch and shoot some threes and a hungry
It's
team.
crazy because I might want to screenshot this just so they can see we did not premeditate go over our picks for shout outs and flops, and I also have Philly in my shout outs on the Eastern Conference side, man. Great minds truly think alike. They're first in rebounds in the NBA. They lead the NBA in rebounding. I mean, we all know how clutch that is to winning championships. And I love it
Absolutely.
when a well coached team brings the best out of a sum of the parts, adding up to the total and making it even stronger. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're getting guys like Connington and Ben Simmons going off rookie of the year candidate right there. Donovan Mitchell trying to give him some work for that, but he has extremely balanced numbers across the board. He creates for them, rebounds and defends so well. Of course, Embiid, we see the beast that he is. I think that they can really make some noise. I wanted to say, the Wizards in that spot for this team to shout out for them as my second team, but I actually have the Boston Celtics as my second team to shout out. I'm super excited to see what they do with Marcus Smart, Greg Monroe back in that rotation. People not realizing that they have not been healthy. I know they slumped a little bit there in January, but
Hmm.
watch out. They are a 40-plus win team. They got some room on the Cavs for the 2 seed, and
Marcus
they're literally right on the heels of Toronto, only 2 games back for first place in the East.
and Marcus Smart is the most key person on their second unit. He's a dog. He has all the hustle plays. He's great on defense, and
Yeah, he
he
does
can go
so
get
much for them.
buckets. And they're missing Shane Larkin as well, who's a very important piece in the second unit as well. So,
Yeah,
and
and
they
then
got
with Greg
Rozier
Monroe in
stepping up.
there,
They got
we haven't
Rozier who
seen
can
them with
step
a
up at
rim
any time.
protector. We haven't seen them with a rim protector like that, like Greg Monroe, that could really, alter shots night in and night out for them. Imagine what they'll look like with Hayward back in the rotation.
Exactly. And then you still have what's his name, Tice in there, and Baines.
Harford.
So whoever's coming off the bench, they got a couple of three rim protectors.
You're right. Horford, too, not to be left out. Yep. Tatum, about to play some of the best ball of his life. Listen, Jaylen Brown and Tatum alone, not to leave out Terry Rozier. I mean, that whole team, I love that roster. And
And
it
if
is hard for me to say because I'm a born and raised NYC guy, diehard Knicks fan. Shout out to Porzingis, get well soon. But these guys, can't be ignored. And anybody who thinks that the wins that they put up already, just because they struggled a little bit late, don't forget what their resume is this year. They're just warming
and
up.
if
Their best is yet
and
to
if
come.
Hayward comes back right before the playoffs, that'll be a surprise. And for my 76ers pick, you never know if Markel Fultz makes it back this year as well with his shoulder injury.
Yeah, exactly. We also got that guy. That's how deep Philly is. They're deeper than people realize as well, too. I can't wait to see what this 1 through 8 is going to look like in April here when these playoffs get started off. So that's it for the East shout outs. And we wait, that's East and West shout outs. Now let's get to our flops on East side. I'm gonna make that a little bit quicker for me. I mean, it's pretty straight, easy, predictable stuff. We know every year in the East, Toronto, they pretend to be that regular season juggernaut, and then they just don't know how to show up in the playoffs. And this one is an even more obvious pick for a flop. Yeah, the Cavaliers.
Ooh, you're kidding me. What round do
Yep,
you
I
think they're
said
gonna
it.
be knocked off?
I think this is going to be the first year. This is the end of the consecutive Eastern Conference manipulated super team dominance created by LeBron James, even though he is an elite potential all-time GOAT-ish
So you're
player.
telling me Boston, Washington, or Toronto is gonna stop LeBron James from going to another finals?
Exactly. If it's not someone named Kyrie MVP, then there's a bad man in the capital there, Washington D.C. that is on a mission. But with Philly being so stacked, even I know they're young, but I don't look at experience to the max when it comes to just a superb, well-oiled team. And like Airhead Compensator already said, you got Milwaukee going nuts. You got Detroit with two powerhouse twin
No one
towers. I
wants
mean,
to face Detroit in the first round either.
nobody wants to play him, and I don't. The East is just looking so strong that I think people. Obviously, it's championship, it's finals or bust for LeBron. So I don't think they're gonna have a bad year. I think they're gonna go to the Eastern Conference Finals and they'll lose this time.
Okay, so check this out. My favorite question ever. Will LeBron James win another ring again?
Yes, he will.
Probably just because he's
I'm.
great at manipulating rosters and creating super teams.
What if the refs, what if the conspiracy theory happens this year and the refs call everything for LeBron in the playoffs?
Come on, guys. Give him more credit than that. LeBron James puts in work. Okay? Come
Yeah.
on.
No, he's that guy. It's just that we all know he doesn't exactly play fair when it comes to setting up teams.
Well,
Okay.
y'all gonna go crazy when you hear my flops, but I'll continue.
Without these trades, I would say LeBron James, would have got shut down this year. But
I
with this
agree.
trade, who knows what can happen? Especially with Kevin
Exactly.
Okay.
Love come, with
Ask me
Kevin Love
before the
coming
trade.
comes back.
Mm-hmm. Ask me before the
Again.
trade. I would have said Cavaliers wasn't going even to make it to the playoffs. Ask me now with the trades, and I am very confident with them.
Whoa. She said she said they
Okay,
were gonna be both slipping into the max there. I hear you.
I don't
Well,
want to go too much into it, but my flops for the East are Miami and Indiana.
okay, Miami and Indiana, two teams that people think I've been talking about Miami all year. Big fan for them. Hassan Whiteside playing out of his mind along with Dragic and those guys, Deion Waiters, Wayne
Don't believe
Ellington.
the hype. Don't believe the hype.
But don't believe
Dwayne
the hype there.
Wade now
Oh
going
wait,
back to the
D
Miami.
Wade, yeah, just getting sent back there. Now they're really gonna make that push. I mean, they're hanging on by a thread for the eighth seed right now. So with Detroit right behind them, I wouldn't be surprised if they did get knocked out as well if they've been playing. So I'm not surprised. In Indiana, they're probably not as good as their record indicates. They're five seed right now, literally tied for wins with Washington and one win behind Cleveland. They're probably not going to be able to keep that up for the whole second half. I see why you made those picks there. For the
Exactly.
East, who'd you say was a flop there, airhead commentator?
Well, the first one I said was a flop was the Raptors because, as you mentioned, and as I've seen through the years, every time they get to the finals where it's the last team that they're playing before they're the last team for the East, they always flop. So I
Yeah.
definitely think the Raptors is one of my biggest flops for the East. And y'all are going to have a heart attack when I tell you that my next pick is the Celtics. The Celtics for the
Whoa.
East. And I say this because this is the first year, of them being
Yo.
together. And I don't think that
MVP.
they're going to make it to, I think they're going to flop. And I say that because the last game they played before the break was against the newly created Cavaliers. And it was a sad day in Boston.
Funeral. It was a
It was a
funeral.
sad day in Boston.
Paul
So I
I
Pierce.
mean,
definitely
Paul
think
Pierce's night was ruined.
I definitely they didn't even poor Paul Pierce didn't even get a televised jersey hang up. He had an app ceremony, which is horrible. But
oh my
getting back
god.
to the flop, yep, I definitely think it's going to be Celtics this year. I don't think in
Wow.
the beginning of the year I was excited for them, but now I don't think they're going to be for the East. I don't.
Okay, so that loss against the Cavs cemented it for you. I'm sure people were already worried about them, but that was the nail in the coffin for you. I mean, it
Yep.
was only All Star break, and I don't know if you would think the same way if you saw Gordon Hayward on that court with the green and white trim.
Yes, but that's and you're right, but we're talking about the now and Gordon Hayward's not playing, so we have to look at who's
Okay,
playing. And
okay.
like I said in the beginning, I was excited for them. They were on a good streak, but you know what? I think it's their first year together. And if they do make it to the finals, I think it's going to be a replay of when OKC went to the finals and they lost and they cried. That's what I think. The first year OKC went to the finals and they lost and they
Yeah.
cried. That's what I think is going to happen to the Celtics this year if they go to the finals. If they're the one for the East, that's what I think is going to happen.
Okay, all
Okay.
right.
My my
I respect the take.
my flops for the West are Portland and Minnesota.
Whoa.
Okay,
Okay.
He
because I
picked
think
that was both of our shout out Minnesota.
Right.
Minnesota,
Okay.
I feel like Towns is, kind of clumsy, and Butler, is giving me warning signs talking about he's tired. When it
Okay.
comes down to the playoffs, you got to bring it. You feel me?
You're right.
And I
Okay.
don't think that. I think they're
That's what
still
they're
kind of
pacing
still too young.
themselves.
I think they're still too young to go.
Listen, Butler's
To
super
make anything happen.
experienced. And Wiggins, he's grown up before our eyes. He's an outstanding guy. They're one player away, and I don't think like they. When I say one player away, I don't think they need to make a trade for a player. I think they need one guy to step up for them. Whether it be from the guard position or probably more so, somebody else to back up Karl Anthony Towns down low. Taj Gibson has really been exceptional for them. They're deep. They're deep, and Jeff Teague's been running the show. He's been, a really good catalyst for them. I really can't wait to see what they do. But I didn't want to counter your point there. Let me let you finish.
With Portland, Lillard and McCollum, I just don't. I don't see them making any noise. I don't know why. I just don't see them.
It's funny you say that. He's actually the hot take of the day, talking about he thinks he's as good as any point guard in the NBA right now.
I was just about to say, yep, that
Those
was
threes are
circulating
getting
today.
to those threes are getting to his head.
But then you have Steve Urkel, CJ McCollum. Yeah, so, I believe that it probably is. I agree with you. It's probably going to be a flop. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
They might be out the
Yeah.
first round.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That would
We'll
definitely
see.
be a
I
flop
can't wait to
following season
visit
for
this
them.
podcast. When the playoffs start and the first round and second round finish to see who was right.
Oh yeah, second half predictions. You heard it here first, guys. This is what it's about. Shout outs and flops on the internet undefeated. Hashtag it and let us know if which of these takes you love the most and which one you think was way way off. But I have a feeling I know MVP Kyrie, who's everybody's gonna agree with. So um, my flops for the West, jumping in here with Matic, we have the OKC Thunder on the flops for the West. Everybody wants to see, Westbrook take it to this next level. The thing is, he can't get out of his own way. Melo is having career, lows across the board. This team should have been on a tear, dominating like we've never seen before. I know they lost Andre Roberson, but you look at this level of talent, and no one can tell me that they didn't underachieve in the first half of the year. And I don't think that Russell Westbrook, being the selfish stat padding, play manufacturing type of guy that he is, I'm sorry, but you can go YouTube the buzzer beaters that he gives up trying to get rebounds. You can go YouTube, the free throws that are the rebounds that his centers and power forwards literally run away from for him to get.
Dude,
So I know that he gets these numbers, but he at what cost to his team is he getting these numbers? And then the Rockets as my other flop of the West. Everybody
ooh,
is really excited about what the Rockets are doing. James Harden, if Kyrie didn't get the MVP, it would have to probably be, James Harden next in line in that voting. But with that being said, they're not deep enough to get it done. Eric Gordon has not been consistent, and Bob Mbute. They just have some guys that PJ Tucker, they don't get the numbers. I don't know if Chris Paul and James Harden are going to score 40 plus a game, 35, 40 plus a game. then they're gonna give people some work. But where's the rest gonna come from? I think they're gonna be a bust. And even though they have the number one spot right now, they're not gonna hold on deep into the playoffs.
I agree.
They
The
got too
Rockets
many
were my
shooters,
flops too.
bro. They got shooters though. Like
It doesn't matter.
that's
James Harden chokes every
if they all
time.
hit, James Harden wants it really bad. Chris Paul
I
wants it
mean,
so bad. And something with the Thunder, if they start playing through Paul George, how they should be playing, because he's the best player on the team, I've seen them when they
Paul George
play
is the best
Paul
player on the
George.
team.
They,
You,
there's actually
you,
stats out there if you play
so you're
when they play
expecting,
through
you're
Paul
saying
George.
Westbrook's going to be a pass first player and make the right basketball play from start to finish for every 7 game series that
I
comes
think they're
up, right?
starting to figure it out because the games where Paul George they're playing through him and he's actually you know there's actually stats out there that say they won every time when they're playing through him and when I think he's taking the most shots. I think.
Well, I think that come playoff time, they let things get to their head and they feel like they could be the one to win and get them to the final spot, and that's what messes them up. And that's exactly why I have the Rockets as one of my flops because James Harden does it all the time.
He's the man. He needs the
Exactly.
ball in his hands to, create shots for others.
But then you have so much pressure on you, right? He takes on this pressure and then he misses these shots and then he doesn't want to pass and then you hold the
Last
ball
year,
long.
last year he shut down, in the playoffs. You know,
Well, well, listen, I have the Rockets as my East flop because of James Harden.
You mean your West
Um,
flop?
sorry, yes, my West flop, and I have unfortunately the Spurs as a flop for my West.
wow. That's
Sorry,
Okay.
guys.
Okay.
I'm tough tonight.
would you say that to Pop if he was
Okay,
here?
listen, I love Popovich. He is probably one of the best coaches. I mean, if he ever ran for president, I would vote for Popovich. But I think that his team is falling apart, and I don't think that they're going to make a final appearance this year either.
Okay, it's all your opinion.
Of course.
Oh, we love it. That's what this is all about. The analysis and the breakdown. You get it here first. So is that all of our post all star shout outs and flops, or did we leave anybody out?
Nope, that's it.
Nope. That's it.
All right, gotcha. So next up on the docket, moving it right along here, guys. Again, don't be afraid out there. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Use those hashtags. Shout outs and flops at us. That's Airhead 730 Radio. Then that's Clutch Phil NBA and Matic 730. You want to add us and let us know which shout out, which flop did we nail, get it right, and which one are you all the way, going that way with. All right. So next up on the docket, we got Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, we said is not even returning for the year, and as a result of it, we also found out that the Mavs are having one of the worst days in NBA history, coming on
Mhm.
the heels of a $600,000 fine for comments regarding tanking coming from the
Mhm.
Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban. If you guys didn't hear it, they're also dealing with a slew of sexual assault allegations coming from even verbal, physical, touching, in their front office, from not just one executive position, but from multiple executive positions. One even involving alleged physical abuse. What a hell of a day Mark Cuban is having, huh, guys?
And didn't they say that Mark Cuban knew about this for a while?
That's what makes it extra disturbing. For women to be in the workplace, they said that not only were the reports allegedly filed brought to the front office attention numerous times throughout this 5-10 year stint, with this, that these allegations are now coming to light for the world to see now. But on top of that, they say it's impossible for an owner as hands on through the office day to day as Mark Cuban to not have been aware of it. Some of the victims are saying that he's been well aware the entire time, and one of them was even told to shut up and do her job. When she
Wow.
tried to bring to light one of the situations of abuse that one of the executives was, putting her in a really difficult situation with.
Holy moly. So that sounds like a lawsuit.
Yeah,
in the making.
Well, you have
so
player
so.
reaction. You have
He
Dirk
lost a lot of
Nowitzki.
money today.
You have Dirk Nowitzki reacting to it, saying he's disgusted by what's coming out, but he's glad that it's coming out. You have to really take these things serious when women come out. Some people don't come out for a long time because of reasons like this. People don't believe them. People are, why'd you wait this long? Or it really doesn't matter how long you wait. It's when you have that courage to speak up and someone's actually going to believe you and listen to you. I'm happy and proud of the women who came forward out loud, even though they came forward before and was shut down. But I'm glad now it's coming to light and everyone is getting blasted. I'm glad.
Exactly, and people need to watch what they do and respect others.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that, in 2018, these are the type of workplace, allegations that are being brought up with people. I mean, come on. It shouldn't be in any workplace at all. And to think that, with these type of careers and lines of work that people are still risking their jobs on a daily basis because they can't control themselves is just ridiculous, disgusting, and it makes it hard for you to trust having your loved ones out in the world. Like, they really got to dead this and come hard down on these guys that are getting away with this stuff, just like they did with that Nasser guy.
Some of these
Yep.
places have alcohol at the job. You never know because Mark Cuban's an innovative owner. I heard that in the locker rooms they have PlayStations in the lockers and all that stuff. So you never know what type of atmosphere. They just need to start, you know,
Well,
acting right.
I'm glad you said that because we can't excuse alcohol or anything that makes you, do things that we would consider inappropriate. You've
Correct.
been in several workplaces intoxicated. You've never tried to, dishonor disrespect somebody else. And, you also are a married man, you got your relationship. So, like,
And
it's
I want
different.
all women to know it's not your fault. And if people are telling you, if you say something this or you need to speak up. Don't think everything it's your fault. It's not.
That's a good message that needs to be said out there for a lot of women that need to hear that. But yeah,
Exactly,
there's
and respect yourselves.
most
Everything.
definitely. So now I feel like we need a rinse after that topic there.
Yes, going
Just
back to the
because
Kawhi Leonard, I do just want to point out that he was medically cleared to return, and it is his decision not to return. So my take on that could be maybe he just doesn't feel ready to play again. Maybe he wants to rest more. Maybe his body is telling him you're not ready yet, although he's been medically cleared. Or B, rumor has it he really is not happy on that Spurs team. So maybe he's just taking the rest of the team, rest of the year off, weighing out his options, and he may not return to the Spurs. Those are my takes on it. Could be
Maybe
could
he's
be
looking
something
for a
totally
trade.
different.
I heard he might be looking for a trade. Who knows what it could be, but I'll be surprised if that's the case if he
where is
doesn't
this
really
coming from,
pop
guys? Are the
anymore.
Spurs done? Is there a reign of always being in the talks of finals contention? Is that over for them? Just like LeBron?
I don't think it's
A nice
over
one.
being. I don't think it's over being with their record without Kawhi
Well, it's definitely not over
and
for
the way they
LeBron,
played
but
against the Warriors when they're the way they played against the Warriors last year, but that was with Kawhi. So you never
exactly
know.
before he got hurt. And it wasn't our fault, by the way. It
I
was
don't.
an honest mistake, okay? All right? It was a
Yeah,
mistake.
Zaza.
I don't think the Spurs. I don't think it was an honest mistake, but I don't think the Spurs are a team who can get free agents like that. They have to build from the ground up.
And
So
that's
it
why you
might
have to
be a
respect
while.
Popovich.
Yeah, it might take a
I mean,
while
they
for them
got
to get
LaMarcus
back on
Aldridge
their
and Pau
feet if you
Gasol to
lose.
come there.
But that's with Kawhi Leonard.
You still have Ginobili. You
They
still
would they
have
would not they
Parker.
would not have gone there if they didn't have Kawhi Leonard. Come on, guys.
So for this
Okay.
year, they're done for.
Yeah, I told you they're one of
I'm
my
not saying
flops.
they're done for. I'm not
I
saying they're
think
done
so.
for.
I think so.
And I
I mean,
hope
they may
Kawhi
make the
comes back.
they may make the playoffs, but they're definitely not going to be in the finals.
If Kawhi Leonard comes back before the playoffs, they're definitely not done.
But
It,
he decided to not to return after being medically cleared. So something is, I'll do more research on that, but I think something
I can't see him sitting
is
out the
more.
whole remainder. He's not going to sit out the whole second half, even though he's healthy. He's not Derrick Rose, right?
Derrick Rose is not healthy, and he's never been healthy after that. Every team Derrick Rose
That's
goes
not
to, I
true.
feel it's a liability. I feel it's a
Derrick Rose
liability.
has left. He's left the Knicks and he's left the Bulls and the Knicks for personal reasons when he was medically completely healthy, not even injured.
Okay, but do you think that these doctors medically clear players too early when they're not really ready to play? Look at what happened with who was it? I think it was Fultz. They were still making him play even though he shouldn't have been playing. Am I
You're,
right? Was it
you're right.
Fultz?
No, you're right.
Okay. So it could definitely be these doctors who are, in a crunch. They're saying, come on, we really need this guy to play. They're medically clearing them against their morals, because I know that some of these people probably aren't 100% healthy to play yet. And when they get
I,
cleared, these players end up re-injuring themselves and being out again. So I do think that any team Derrick Rose goes on is a liability, because I feel like he's never 100% at his best, and I feel like he's never healthy. That's just my take.
Well, I mean, the Cavs got rid of him, so I'm not making the case that he's this, super crazy guy. I'm
But
just
remember,
saying
he
that.
was out too. He was out, and he was deciding whether or not to retire from the NBA or come back. And then he decided that he was going to come back. So I definitely think it has something to do with his body. He's older. He's been hurt. I mean, it could definitely be
I want to
something
know what
medic.
personal. I want to know what personal reasons has this guy, on the books with a team and just takes off like that, and the teams
All
allow
these
it. I
exactly,
don't
all
know.
these players are just being selfish. Kawhi, this is a selfish move. I could never support it. I come from the era of grit and grind. Players used to play. Look at how many injuries Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and tons of other Hall of Fame top 50 all-time players played several seasons with. And now we're in the era where not only do you not play if you're hurt, but you sit out for rest all the time. The Spurs are notorious for resting guys and literally ruining matchups across the NBA season the past several years just because they want to be most ready for the playoffs.
You're
I don't
right, and
get
I
how
think
these guys
LeBron
do
started that
this.
trend. And you're right, and I think LeBron started that trend because he was sitting out so many games to be rested. I think this happened just last year, sitting out
No,
so
but
many
he got
games,
that. He got that
resting.
from Pop. He got that from
No, that
Popovich
was
because for
yeah,
the
that was
past
way
couple
after
years,
Pop did that
this is
a
when
couple.
Tim Duncan was getting of age, where
Yes.
it happened with Tim Duncan. And he would sit him and he
But
plays his top players like 30 minutes a
he would
game.
sit all of them though. It was not even just one guy. That's what really all of this has gotten outlandish. I mean, if you look at the
Ginobili,
pampering
Parker.
that they
I
call
think they're getting
resting,
fined though now. Aren't they getting fined if they sit out games?
I
They
think
have.
the NBA had to get involved and start finding people.
I
Yeah.
think there's a rule now that you can't sit out unless you're injured.
Yes, because it's ridiculous. You have people buying tickets, flying in from all over the world to watch this game, to come to find out that their number one player who they want to come and see is not even playing. So,
Yeah,
I agree with the NBA stepping in.
So what are
LeBron
they gonna do?
pissed
They
me off
feel the
last year.
same way. I'm sorry there. What'd you say there, Matic?
No, I said LeBron pissed me off last year with sitting down with there's little kids who pay to see LeBron.
Yeah, yeah, it's crappy, like what the hell? Like what are the, they got to do something and make at least more of a representation. If somebody's not going to play, fans got to have access to get their money back. They should know earlier. It's never going to make it right, but
And
I don't know what they're going to do, I really don't know how they come to a solution on this one. And then now they got teams like the Mavericks speaking out loud about tanking, so they're just hitting them down with the hammer on the $600,000 fine.
Yes, because
What
per Adam Silver, him saying that is detrimental to the NBA. So that raises eyebrows to me. Where, okay, is he right? Are they mad because he said something right?
he
But
said at this point, losing is going to be the best benefit to them, and we all know what that means. A draft pick.
of course. But you know what? I get it. People are all about their stats. They're all about winning. They're all about how many rings you got. People are forgetting that this is a sport that people love to see. We love to see three-point shots being made. We love to see crossovers. We love to see people's ankles being broken. Come on, guys. Keep it
Yeah, I
fun
mean,
for the
imagine
fans.
imagine
Well,
when we have, 3, 4, 5 teams. First, it was Trust the Process. Then it was Magic Johnson with his, intentional being on the hot seat trying to get these picks. And there's been a overall trend where now we're looking at teams even like the Mavericks, which I'm not even sure if they've actually been tanking or not, because Wesley Matthews, Harrison Barnes, and even
Yeah,
a
you have
million a
Harrison
million
Barnes.
a million-year-old Dirk Nowitzki has been putting up
they
solid
said
numbers on the 25 minutes a game he's been playing. So I don't know if that's even been the case, but at the same time, these you can't have teams going out there and acknowledging that they're not competing to win NBA games. What does that do to
they
the league?
they said they
It's
weren't on.
true.
They said they weren't planning on tanking. People said because of the money they gave Barnes and what's his name? Who's the dude that they got from the 76ers? Joel Noel.
Noel, yeah, Nerlens Noel.
Yeah, supposedly they paid them big money, so they weren't, in tank thing. But being the way that the season's played out, I seen them play their heart, against the Lakers, and they whooped the Lakers' ass. So I'm not sure, maybe
I mean,
he
Well,
wants to tank,
well,
but the
that's not
team
saying that's
doesn't.
not saying a lot there, Matic.
it's not. I mean, you have Harrison Barnes who comes from the Warriors. Stand up. He did run a ring with us. You have a Curry on that team. You have Dirk on that team. I mean, you have good people on that team that you could possibly mold into a winning team easily with the people that they have. I
Agreed.
think.
But
I
they're
think.
old, and the West is hard.
You're
There's
right.
quite
There's
a few
so
teams
much
that are.
competition. There is so much competition in the West, which is exactly why LeBron is staying his little self in the East, because there's just too much in the West. In the West, he'll have to work harder to make the finals in the West than he does in the East. That's just my
Why?
opinion.
Why do you guys think that he even came out and said that to the public?
What?
Yeah, I don't know why he was being so honest, Mark Cuban. I don't know if it was, you know, him just
Maybe it's
he's
just
he.
him hating. Maybe it's just him hating because the 76ers tanked that year and they got first pick.
Yeah, he said afterwards he tried to backtrack it and say that he got caught up in the moment, and he was actually speaking to Dr. J, if I remember correctly. I don't think it was like a press type thing, and because he was speaking to a legend, I think he was just being a little too candid about what he thinks is the best thing for his team. I don't think this guy's been coaching his team to lose behind closed door. He's the owner, not the coach.
You're right.
And they're saying maybe he's saying that because of the record, and how you try to be like, oh yeah, since he's already doing shitty, he's gonna just say that they were tank, shit like that.
Makes sense. Try to play it off. Roll with the punches.
So,
Life give you lemons, make lemonade.
and then he got the 600,000 today. So that's a pretty hefty fine.
Yeah, seriously,
It
just for the
is.
comments alone. I don't know what the NBA is doing. They need to look at their referees more than they need to look at this. They got, somebody in an office someplace else telling the
You have
referees on the court,
Draymond Green's tooth pushed back, gushing with blood, and him getting a
you know?
technical foul.
Yeah.
Obviously, he got hit on the play, and you're not calling the foul, but you're giving him a technical. So you're
Yeah,
right. These refs
I've
definitely
seen
need to be
I've seen some
checked.
crazy plays this year that shouldn't have been a foul, and it's just craziness.
Now,
And
I
then
know
we
the
just saw
referees
we
are
just
being
saw
held.
we just saw on the All-Star game the ball went off of somebody's foot, and they gave it to Team Curry's team.
Yeah, sure
Remember
did.
that shit?
Yep.
So honestly, the flops then, or the winners for the East and the West will be the referees for me. I'm just kidding.
Even
Because
on the
they're the ones
replay,
calling the games. They're the ones
they
winning
wa-
or losing.
they watched the same replay as us, and they said Curry's team. I was like, unbelievable.
I honestly I don't know what they're looking at sometimes. I know there's got to be human error margin for it, but sometimes clear as blatant. We see this first time live or, first replay. It's clear as day. And yet these guys, we have three on the court. They get together, have a meeting, and then you have a room full of people with another room full of televisions and camera angles telling that set of people what the right call is, and we still are getting it wrong. Like, what?
It needs
That's
to go
you know
through training again.
This has got to be
that
like the Twilight Zone.
that's another whole rabbit hole.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can
see,
get that
yeah, that,
into the next one, to the next
yeah, right.
podcast.
Don't get me started, man. Phil with the clutch takes,
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that will do it for this edition of the Internet Undefeated podcast on 730 Radio. You have Clutchville NBA. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram. You have Matic730. Follow him on Instagram and Twitter. And you have yours truly, Airhead730 Radio, on Twitter and Instagram. All right,
And
guys.
don't
Until
forget to
next
turn on
time.
those post notifications on that YouTube channel 730 Radio, because you want to
Yes,
make sure that you
subscribe.
get a notification. Yeah, as you subscribe, turn on those post notifications on the top right corner, just so you know every single time the breaking news take is coming out from us, yours truly, here at Internet Undefeated.
Oh, real
Absolutely.
quick before we end, we are having a giveaway. Forgot to
Nice.
mention
Friday.
that
Whoa,
in the
whoa, whoa,
beginning.
whoa.
We are having a
Friday
giveaway. If you
night.
subscribe to the YouTube channel 730 Radio, you have a choice to win either an NBA jersey or a new era hat. You have to show proof that you subscribe, so please make sure you comment in the comment section. You have to share it and at least tag three of your friends. If not, then we'll just take the subscribe in the comment just to make sure that you are subscribed. We will be announcing the winner on Friday, which is February the 23rd at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the next podcast. Again, subscribe to 730 Radio on YouTube. Comment so we know that you are subscribed, and the winner will be announced Friday at 10 p.m. You have the choice of getting either a jersey or a new era hat. That posting is also on our Instagram pages, so you could definitely look out for that. And you could like and
So,
share and comment
So
on
you
that
mean
as
we have
well.
another giveaway already? Authentic gear, guys. I know you were asking for it. Here it is. Don't miss out, and make sure and tag those friends, because if somebody does all the steps and then you don't, guess what? They're getting the gear over you. So don't let that happen.
Yep, we picked
Yes.
two. We picked two winners already earlier this week, and their stuff is mailed, and they'll be posting on social media as soon as they get it.
We'll
And
be posting those pictures as well.
we want as many people to win. So subscribe in any shape, form. Contact us and let us know you're subscribed, so you could be in the drawing.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, Internet Undefeated on 730 Radio.
That's what I'm talking about. Get at us.